Carla Esparza taking on Zhang Weili. Now, as it stands today, boy, this is amazing. The champ sitting at a plus 265. Can you believe it? Zhang Weili at a minus 320, BC. Now, let's start the conversation here. You spoke to Carla Esparza, all right? How much are people dismissing her chances?
Because dude, it's out of control right now.
Right? How much are they dismissing her chances because they've looked at the tape or, they have a decent assessment of how good Zhang Weili is, who's obviously very talented, probably deserves to be the favorite no matter what, has beaten better competition, okay? How much of that is just a fair assessment of this fight, and how much of it is like, fuck her. That was a terrible fight she had with Rose. I can't stand her. She doesn't deserve to be champ. All this animosity for her raining down.
The Cookie Monster is one of the nicest people to talk to. I actually really enjoyed this interview that I had with her. You can catch it, of course, on youtube.com/morningcombat. We'll be thrown to it shortly because I don't think she's kind of underexposed for an elite level two-time champion, where I don't think, on high level she's been allowed to sort of tell the stories of these fights behind the scenes. So I've enjoyed doing that. But not just the reaction to me chatting with her. And look, I guess in the end we were a little clickbaity with the headline. It was in line with what she said, but people kind of gave us hell. We're scumbag MMA journalists, so first of all. But I did not expect this full on from Dean Thomas coming on the show and just bluntly saying, oh, Carla's going to get her head taken off by Whaley, to everybody's reaction of like this, almost without saying it, as if, this paper champion. I do believe that awful second fight with Rose, that it does take two to tango. Both deserve blame here for something that was so tactical with so little action, so safe. Yeah, to some degree, it robbed her of a big moment of a great turnaround, but I think it's all factoring in along with Whaley being so rejuvenated here that people are not only expecting Whaley to completely run through her and dominate her, but I think people are enjoying that aspect. Like, they can't wait to see Carla lose. So, Luke, I've done the research and look up and down and watched Carla's recent fights. Here's what's interesting. She's riding a 6-fight win streak. Outside of that boring fight, she didn't talk trash in the wrong direction. She's never really, she's always polite. She doesn't say anything negative. But of those 6 fights, to be fair with you, 4 were a split or majority decision. 3 were split decisions outright. And she was the betting underdog, like she is in this fight, for 5 of those 6.
Jesus.
So, look, there's 3 split decisions out of 6. There's been some sort of, not luck, but, good karma and momentum that she's riding to be able to be in these close fights and just get the nod. But it does factor in together to be like, I don't think we've seen a champion in a while that have been this much maligned. And I didn't think it would be her, right? It was easier to malign Nico Montano because we didn't know a lot about her. Like, it was kind of lame how that title belt came together, and then they just stripped her because she missed weight. Same thing with GDR, although let's give Jermaine Durandamy credit for coming back around and she's proving she's a great fighter. But people aren't talking about this fight, and people are not talking about anything when they are talking about this fight beyond Whaley getting a big-time finish, Luke. I have to be fair and say that's a large amount of disrespect for a very good fighter in Esparza who has had to tiptoe to get to this point, but she's here, Luke, and she's a nice person. But, with that said, I bet we're both going to pick Whaley by stoppage, aren't we?
Well, I mean, listen to this
win streak. Aren't we just hypocritical?
Yeah, she lost twice to Suarez and Gadelia, or however you say her name, Gadelia.
Claudia, you talking about?
Claudia Gadelia, yeah, excuse me. And then she beat Jandiroba, Grasso, Michelle Waterson-Gomez, Rodriguez, Yan Xiaonan, who she stopped in the second round, and then had the terrible fight with Rose Namajunas, but technically was the winner there, although it's hard to call that really a clear and decisive win. Nevertheless, fucking impressive win streak.
Name-wise, yes.
Yeah.
And I was butchering. Yes, it was the stoppage against Yan Xiaonan. I was saying all in the past week that it came against Marina Rodriguez. I'm dead wrong myself.
Was a split. Rodriguez was
But, Luke, the fact that all of those inconclusive results, and a couple of those I remember arguing the other
Grasso
way.
was fight of the night. Her fight with Grasso was fight of the night.
But didn't that build the foundation for where we are? When you do an unforgivable sin in the fans' eyes, which that second Rose fight was, okay, fine. But I don't remember there being this many Whaley fans before this. Like, people are fired up to see the belt change hands.
She earned a lot of favor with that fight against Joanna, the first one. She learned to earn a lot of favor.
But I went back and watched Rose versus Whaley too, and I mean the fans were booing that shit leading up to the
they're fickle.
The decision when she put the belt around her waist. So hey, let's hear what she has to say about this shit.
All right, we got a couple of clips here, so let's talk about this very quickly. She's going to talk about first on the disappointing win she had versus Rose in the last fight.
No, I definitely hear what you're saying, and it's definitely a bummer to win a fight like that. Winning a title, I mean, that's always going to be a good day, right? Winning any fight, but it's just not being able to just have like this strong performance or the strong finish or just show all the work that you've been putting in camp it is a bummer. And, obviously the fans were disappointed and, it did definitely put a little bit over a cloud over the win, but, that's what, the right I can make in this fight. I'm excited to put it out, to put it all on the line.
Yeah. Look, she's 35 years old. She's a two-time champion on the women's side in the best and deepest division. She has to be on, I don't know if it's a Mount Rushmore, but when we look back at this era, which is still going, this division started December 2014 with the tough finale, right? The champion was crowned. It was Carla that night. She's still the champion. In between, it's been like this group of Rose, Whaley, Joanna, Carla, Andrade. They've all fought each other a ton of times, and they always, except for this last one between Rose and Carla, make magic. It's weird. People, it's like she's so like at the same time looked over or underrated. Luke, is she overrated or underrated as a fighter? I can't figure it out.
Carla?
Yeah.
Massively underrated. Massively underrated. But the thing is, like certain kinds of fighters' wins inspire, how do I say this? They boost morale, right? When she has this like blood and guts affair, people are gonna like that more. And then she has, by the way, gotten better. If you look at the two Joanna fights, she's clearly gotten better.
And when she finished Shannon, she looked like a destroyer.
But like she just has this way of boosting adoration for her. Whereas Carla has had to scrape and collect and save and penny pinch to get these wins. So the runs aren't as equal in that way. They don't inspire confidence as much as they should. And even the Yan Xiaonan win, which was a dominant win by Carla, they're like, oh, well, Yan's takedown defense isn't great. She's a better striker. She just took advantage of that. It's like, yeah, but you can only take advantage of that if you're real fucking good in the other departments. Like you got to be a very good fighter to do that. So some people's wins, and by the nature of the competition themselves, they just boost morale, they boost confidence, they boost adoration. And Carla just doesn't have those wins. She just doesn't.
We're going to break this fight down this week ad nauseum. But does she have the striking to stay with Whaley here? Because a lot of people are talking about what Whaley's.
If it stays on the feet, she loses.
Okay.
She loses, for sure.
And I can't wait to break down what it's going to look like on the ground. But let's hear one more from Carla. I asked her about Whaley's style and how she feels these match up together or contrast each other. Let's hear Carla.
I mean, I hope they contrast so that I can go in there and get that finish. But I mean, just watching Whaley, over this last, year or two, like seeing her grappling game evolve and, she's always been strong. She's always had great striking, but I think she's becoming a lot more well-rounded and her grappling is getting a lot better. So, I guess it's just a contest of who's going to be better where. And, I feel like game plans and the ability to execute them kind of, make the fights.
Look, there you go, Luke. Odds-wise, it's a big hill to climb here. She's Whaley's a 3-1 favorite, but has Esparza.
Also, we should say this too. Hold on, to interject here very quickly.
Yeah.
In some of her losses, she just gets run over.
Yes.
Like in the first fight with Joanna, Carla got run over and just looked like once she couldn't get the takedown, it was all going to fall apart. I think that's stuck in the minds of fans. Also, Tatiana Suarez, and granted, that was a different time because we haven't seen her basically since. She got run over in that fight.
I know you're probably not that interested, but this is probably the time to work it into the show. Joanna went on Instagram yesterday and said that
she's going to be a manager or something.
Well, it's the same day that her name officially got removed from the rankings, but she revealed that she was like seriously thinking about a comeback in recent weeks and was like calling her manager and all that, and they were like getting in touch with the UFC, and she said she hadn't had thoughts about retirement entering the Whaley rematch unless it went completely one-sided for her, and it did, right? She got dominated and knocked out cold spectacularly, but because she had physically the best camp of her life, she really thought about coming back and then just decided no and kept down this road. Long run, she had a great exit, even though she lost by knockout there against Whaley. Like she went out a conquering hero and people gave her flowers and all that. Are there any other matchups in here separating the personal of Joanna, which we couldn't be more bipolar opposites?
You can get to the point.
Is there any matchups like all-star 115 matchups you'd still want to see with Joanna? Or not? Because I think if Whaley wins this fight, we will get the Rose trilogy.
It's hard to answer the question because I would like to see her, and I mean this sincerely, dude, like that the first the Zhang Weili fight was fucking brutal, dude. It was brutal as shit. Remember how disfigured she was? Remember that picture she posted like a week or two after the fight, and she was just. I'm not doing a bit here, dude. She looked like an eggplant.
Yes,
she was purple head to toe, dude. That's not normal. That's not like you got to be. Man, let me just say this: like
you don't want to see Joanna against Mackenzie Dern. That's you're not into that.
Would I think that's an interesting fight that I think the fans would absolutely love to see? Zero question in my mind. Zero question in my mind. But I don't know, man. She's taken. I mean, she had long, grueling fights even when she won.
Carolina fight at MSG
Dude, they're
was
fucking brutal, man. They're brutal. I'm just gonna say this, like, and I know it's making it personal, but I have no other way to make the argument. The difference in how I feel physically, and I'm trying to be serious for just a moment. At 35 versus after 40 is dramatic. It is dramatic, and I can't overstate this enough. For young fighters, it's impossible to imagine yourself as an older version of it, but you have to try. You have to think about your quality of life after 40 and what you want to have and what you want to be able to do and what kind of things are going to be available to you. And for all the neck surgeries and knee surgeries and shoulders and back, to say nothing of the brain itself, when they go like that, when they're like, fuck, I've had enough, I would like to see them to honor it, especially if she can stay in the industry and still help fighters in the way that she was talking about. So to your point, would the fans welcome it? Without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah.
But I would like to see someone who's had that much damage stay retired.
Do you agree, though, that back to Esparza versus Weili, separate from Joanna, jumping back into the picture here, is that nobody seems to care about this fight. Though on paper, pretty good fight.
Most people think.
Pretty good fight, though, on paper, right?
Yeah, well, on paper, there's some intrigue to it. Dean Thomas was, he was like, she's going to get decapitated, or whatever the words he used were. But, like, people are just dismissing this fight as a foregone conclusion. And yes, I do think Zhang Weili deserves to be a favorite, probably considerably so. But I'm not treating this as a foregone conclusion. Dude, MMA fights are fucking weird.
Yeah.
You have no idea what injuries people are bringing into contests. You have no idea what little corner people turn. Carla Esparza has been in this game for a while. She is a hard worker. She can wrestle very well. She has good ground and pound. Yeah, this could go away the way that we're not imagining. It's worth at least taking seriously. We're talking about someone wearing the fucking belt.
Yeah,
man.
we are. I haven't watched Embedded yet, so I don't know. But if short hair Whaley shows up again, it's gonna be a long night for Carla.
Yeah, or a short night.
Dude, short hair Whaley, it comes to F you up.